forget. Sometimes we never forget. Haven't seen the end of it yet. We'll fight as long as we live. All eyes on the hidden door to the lonely mountain road. We'll ride in a gathering storm till we get our long forgotten call.
Okay, welcome to Tac Chat 21. I'm Dan. I'm going to go ahead and make this kind of a quicker one than I did last week. This week's topic is going to be about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories. As opposed to actual conspiracies, such as the one that's going on right now in the world. Because what's going on in the world right now, make no mistake about it, is an actual conspiracy. It's a psyop. It's a conspiracy. And you people out there who are politically minded and rooting for the people on the left, and you're real far left, you got to understand something. I know a lot of moderate left people that are starting to wake up, and they understand that this is a conspiracy. You need to wake up too. You need to realize, wow, I was wrong and I was fooled. That's what you need to do, because something big's going on in the world, folks. They got camps over in China. I just seen that on the news. Start researching and start looking at other things. Go to BitChute and look up some things. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go into conspiracy theories. I just wanted to, the difference between an actual theory versus an actual conspiracy. We've been socially engineered to whenever we hear the word conspiracy, we automatically hyphenate it with theory. Just like we've been socially engineered to whenever we hear the word anarchy, we automatically think of chaos. Okay, and both are wrong. There are actual conspiracies. You usually just don't find out about them. Oh, that really was a conspiracy. It's like 4 decades later. After it's too late, no one gives a shit. Okay? So, I was at the gym this week, and it was funny because I had this dude looking at me. And I've seen him a couple other times. They're looking at me, giving me just got weird vibes from him, And I'm an empath, so I could pick up on people's energy pretty quickly. I'm wondering what the hell's going on. Now, I've been gang stalked before, but I didn't feel like it was that. Those cowards have a certain way of behaving, and I pick up on them like immediately, man. So this wasn't that, but it was just odd. And all of a sudden, it was towards the end of my workout, and he comes up to me, and he's like approaching me. He looks a little like scared, but he's like, "Are you that Facebook conspiracy guy?" And I was like, "Holy shit." I'm like, no, I'm that Facebook conspiracy analyst. And I guess his wife follows my personal page. Or they looked at my personal page, and she's like right on board with what I'm saying. So he's indeed a fortunate man and doesn't realize that he has an awoke woman that knows that this is indeed a conspiracy. So, yeah, now I'll get into Facebook. Why am I still on Facebook? Where so many people got all these other different platforms that they go to. And I know I went over to a couple of different platforms outside of Facebook. And what they turned out to be, like I think Parler was one of them, what they turned out to be for me was it seemed like right-wing propagandists over in those other platforms, just mad at Facebook, so they're over there doing their right-talking stuff, okay? And the far right, to me, are just as guilty and just as complicit in all this nonsense going on in the, I don't know, I'll just call it the United States fuckery in this and not actually waking up. Because they think that this whole thing was a psyop just to get, it was a conspiracy just to, and this really is a theory. This wasn't indeed a conspiracy. This is their theory. This whole thing was just to get Trump out of office. We have to get the orange skin. They wanted to get the orange skin guy out of office. It's like, so the whole world's doing what it's doing just because they wanted to get because they wanted to get Trump out of office. And those guys, I don't have to convince them. They want freedom more than the left. So they don't really need the convincing. There's a lot of people who kind of are scared of what's going on in the world. They're not sure what's going on in the world, or they're just straight up left. Some are moderate left that I know who have come on over to the side of freedom. I'm talking more like anarchism than going over to the right. And they know something's going on in the world. It doesn't take a genius to figure out something big is happening, okay? It's not a pandemic from a man-made virus with a 99% survival rate. Come on, folks. It's not that. We know this. So we need to start speaking out. Everyone needs to start speaking out. So with that said, I stay on Facebook to kind of aggravate my far-left friends who haven't unfriended me yet, or to also maybe, just maybe, I'll plant some kind of seed and it'll get them to research. Or maybe I'll say something that makes them a little uncomfortable, and they'll have to be with that for a little bit and figure it out. You know, I sometimes catch myself getting very angry at people who are not truly awakened, and then I say to myself, then how awakened am I if I'm going to be getting mad at people who aren't awakened? But then again, their ignorance is going to cause the well-being of so many millions of people in this country, and the freedom of people in this country, including my family and friends and me. So maybe I got a right to be a little pissed at them, and maybe you do too. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things real quick, because I had a question asked to me about how does religion, I talked about religion in my last podcast, how is it a control mechanism? And I talked about the 7 deadly sins, and, you know, that there were more warnings against, you know, excess, not actual deadly sins. There is no hell. It doesn't exist, folks. And they were asking me, well, how specifically is the 7 deadly sins controlling humanity? How government's controlling humanity with religion with stuff like the 7 deadly sins? Well, it's because of the contradictions within the 7 deadly sins. There's a lot of contradictions, and like the control. Right now we have what I would call in the world a population depopulation agenda, along with a population control agenda. Okay, they give us a bunch of free porn, and now they got fucking sex robots. So biblically speaking, they told us that lust was a deadly sin. But how do we propagate our species? Too much of it could be bad, but I think they're just trying to control. They're just trying to control what you do. If you're not doing anything immoral against natural law, victimizing anybody, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay? Gluttony, they want to control your food, your crops. Sloth, man, they don't want you resting because they want you to be a slave. So everything they're telling you is to go in a direction to where they can control you. Greed, so they can control what you have and don't have. This is how governments have done this since the beginning of time. This is what they've done in religion. I'm going to get into my conspiracy theory based on that in a second. Pride. Pride's a big one, man, because if you have too much pride, you might become confident. And if you get confident, you might have competence. And confidence and competence is something they really don't want you having, because they want you to depend on them. So forget the pride thing. Wrath. Don't get angry. Please do not get angry. And the feminazis do not like toxic, masculine, exaggerated masculine behavior, which means don't get mad, don't yell, don't do anything. They don't realize the wolves that are at the door are going to be very toxically masculine, and their men that they've emasculated ain't going to be capable of fighting or getting mad because of wrath. Okay, and then the envy part, that was one of the other sins. Basically, the rich government, don't be envious. Don't be envious. You know, it's real easy for me to see how it's very controlling, man. But jumping from there straight back into a conspiracy theory, so I'll throw a conspiracy theory out there at you. In October of 2019, they had the G20 summit, where 20 world government leaders, top 20 leaders, got together, and there was like 24 people in this picture, so we don't know who those other 4 people were. But they go and they discuss their plans for the world and what they're going to do. And then from there, those world leaders go back to their countries, and what they want to happen gets done. This is what hierarchical oligarchies do. Okay, this is how organizations work. This is how all the director of a hospital wants a certain area clean. He doesn't go up to the janitor himself or the housekeeping person himself and say, hey, clean this. He tells his assistant, boom, it gets done, because stuff travels down. Okay? With what's going on in the world right now, I have a concept that we can get rid of this within 2 years if we travel upwards with no. Okay? So what I mean by that is I think the long-term solution is living in accordance to natural law, spiritual law. But the short-term solution might just be 2 years of telling your boss no. Quit trying to please your boss. And then they should turn around and tell their boss no. And they should tell their boss no. Anytime you're given any immoral, something you know is wrong, don't do it. Say no. Who cares if they fire you? Seriously, who cares? Say no. Sooner or later, if everyone is saying no, and everyone quits trying to please their boss, that'll make the world a little bit better. It'll take them a little bit longer to accomplish what they want to accomplish. But anyways, back to the G20 summit. So they got a G20 summit in April, and in November, there's some saber rattling going on in Virginia. CIA headquarters, a little bit, which is nearby, and the saber rattling's all about guns, and they're going to take guns. There's some legislature in where they're going to take all these guns. So they have this big thing where people from all over the country travel to Virginia with their guns in December to, protest. And this thing they wanted to pass to take away guns. Well, nothing ever happened to that, so that legislation never got passed, and it was a calm, peaceful protest, and all these thousands of people from all over the country returned back to whatever states they're going to go to, and they took COVID back with them. That's what's probably happened. Okay, COVID, we know, was man-made. And it's got an over 99% survival rate. But wow, what better way to spread it quickly? Okay? And the next thing you know, January, this starts coming out. They unroll their entire rapid dominance, their entire campaign. And, everyone knows what went on since then. So I'm looking at that, and I can't figure out why other people don't see, I guess, how the governments of the world can do this. It's very simple. It's not hard, okay? The universe is self-similar. The universe is fractal. Organizations all have the same type of setups. Okay, compartmentalization. Hierarchical oligarchies are set up the same way the world over. So they can start at the top, and it's just like a pyramid down. They tell who they want what they want to do, man. This can be done. I don't understand why some people can't see that. A lot of the people on the left just don't want to admit they were bamboozled. They know something's fucking wrong. Something big is coming. So one of the conspiracy theories I have is, and again, my theories come from research and intuition, and I would say this is more like abductive reasoning. I don't know if I'm right or wrong on this, as opposed to deductive reasoning, where I'd say I'm absolutely right unless you can prove me wrong. And that's not the case. I'm not sure if I'm right on this, but let's imagine, if you would, an alien species called the Anunnaki, who live for have a lifespan of maybe millions of years, if not completely immortal. Completely immortal. Because their T cells don't, their T cells grow back, where ours after a certain age don't. That's why we start aging. So they're completely immortal, more than likely, unless otherwise killed. And their planet X, planet Nibiru, the 12th planet, there's a bunch of names for it. This is all been starting to come out into the peripheral, so you could research it. If you don't know about it, look up planet Nibiru, look up the Anunnaki. Their planet is an elliptical orbit that's roughly every 3,000 years. I read 36,000 or 3,600 years. Some people said it was an astronomical number that was way above that, but I've heard between 3,000 and 3,600 years. Okay. Well, imagine if you have a creation that you're going to be coming back for in about 3,000 years. Wouldn't it be really easy to tell these superstitious people, create a religion for them, and then use a religion to control them? It's the year 2021 AD. Okay, Jesus, it's been 2022. I'm sorry, 2022. So it's been 2022 years since Jesus' time. And they thought that the Old Testament was written sometime around 600 BC, but there's new evidence that's out there that suggests it was more like 1100 BC. That would put us right now into that over 3,000 year category where planet Nibiru may be back. So this is something to think about. It could be close by. Why'd they make a Space Force as soon as Trump gets into office, right? This is a theory that's way out there, but I'm still of the opinion humans are inherently too lazy to do all this. Something else is pulling the strings. What that is, I don't know. All I know is in the interim and in the little microcosm of our personal lives, we have to start learning how to say no. And sometimes I'm posting stuff on Facebook and people think that I'm just this angry guy posting stuff on Facebook, and but no. I live completely in the moment. I have a blast most of the time. I meditate, and you don't have to meditate, and I do this type of meditation sometimes. I really will take 10, 15, 20 minutes, close my eyes and meditate. A lot of times I do what's called passive meditation. Passive meditation. So while I'm driving, have you ever driven from point A to point B and your mind just does nothing but think the whole time? And next thing you know, 30 minutes have gone by, 20 minutes have gone by, and you're at your destination. Well, it's because, and I wrote about this in my first book, Violence and Ego, and this was an analogy I used, you literally have driven for so many years. You've got so much muscle memory that you don't even have to think about doing it. You're able to do it while you got all this other stuff on your mind. So your mind's usually cluttered on that next thing, because many times we all got this thing, many people have it, destination addiction. What do I got to do next? What do I got to do next? And in today's day and age, they've got all this fear out there. They want you vibrating in this state of fear. So a lot of times, passively meditating while you're driving will help keep you from getting road rage, actually, and it'll help keep you from reacting to other people's road rage. And passively meditating while you're driving is as simply as you're still watching the road, you're still paying attention to everything you'd be paying attention to as far as braking and going and stop signs and red lights and all that stuff, where you're going to. You've done it a million times. You could think about everything else that's going on. Well, you could sit there while you're driving, and then just while you're driving, concentrate on your breath. Take a huge 8-second breath. Keep your eye on the road, passively breathe. Keep your concentration on your breath. You'll be able to, you're not closing your eyes though. You can do passive meditation, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and it will make you feel less fearful. It does change the delta waves in your brain. If you meditate just 5 minutes a day, and that's all I would suggest doing. Within 50, 60 days, the delta waves in your brain are going to improve. You can research it. So, yeah, I still do that. I still meditate. I'm just not going to form my mudras and meditate while the world burns and pretend like there's nothing going on. and do what the New Age, the New Agers want you to do. The New Age community doesn't want us to take action, right? They don't want us to have wrath. I think a little wrath is needed. Now, I don't think I'm not calling for violence, but the use of force shouldn't ever be taken off the table with some of the bullshit they're talking about. I'm not calling for violence, though. I think the more we speak up and the more people who say we're just not going to have this, we are born to be free, the better off we're going to be. The Constitution, I talked badly about the Constitution last week, but any law that's passed that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void automatically. Okay? That's law. And that also happens to coincide a little bit with natural law. Our founding fathers worded some of that right, and we're lucky we have that. It's still the freest country in the world. Here's another conspiracy. I call this common sense, but some people will call it a conspiracy theory. They decide to roll all this out on an American election year when everyone's ego identifying with their politics and divided anyway. Okay? I hope I don't lose any more right-wing friends or left-wing friends than I already have. I really don't give a shit if I do. Trump ain't some savior. He never was. He played his part perfectly, man. Perfectly. It was a WWE clown show. All those guys are billionaires. They're peers. He ain't some savior, okay? Jesus isn't coming back. That's a theory, too. I'm willing to be wrong on some of these theories. I do think there's going to be a fake alien invasion. I do think that they're wanting to keep us vibrating in a state of fear and hate, okay? And I would suggest to try to do things that help you to vibrate in a state of love and joy as much as possible. Don't let them now don't I'm prepped. Unless the bomb hits here or something, I'm prepped. So I'm also, I've prepared to die. I don't really fear death that much since I've already died twice. I know my soul's going someplace. I had some experiences. I talked about them in my book, Rise from Darkness, which I think I'm going to update and fix up a little bit. But, yeah, my message for today is there are some theories. Start thinking on what some of those theories could be. Start studying, and you might start coming to your own conclusions on what's actually happening in the world and using your own thoughts, be they right or wrong, they're your own thoughts. You're not letting someone else put thoughts into your head that are harming you. Okay? They don't have a right to lock you down. They don't have a right to be doing what they're doing all over the world. Okay? We wouldn't have all these protests for all these extreme measures all these countries are taking if people are actually dropping dead of the plague. It's not happening, folks. You're not gaslighting me. You're not gaslighting a whole bunch of us. You never will. You're not going to gaslight us. And if anyone doesn't know what gaslighting is, you can look that up, but that's when they try to make you doubt your own reality, man. And in a person who's being gaslighted, they'll try to make you look crazy. That's cool, man. I don't care if I look crazy at all. Literally 75% of this world actually knows something big is happening. This isn't political. Something big's happening. Something's coming down the pike. So you should research a little bit, study a little bit, and start getting a little bit prepped. But use some common sense, man. Start saying no. I can't even stress that enough. Like I can do 20 podcasts, and all my podcasts can just be the same thing. Start fucking saying no. No. Project Mockingbird in the other direction. No. Okay? I know they don't understand that word when it goes against what they want, but anyway, I'm going to be getting my own website up soon, besides my martial arts website, to have my own material on instead of relying on YouTube and just reposting things and doing things on Facebook, because all that's being really they're controlling how much that gets out. I was banned over this, like I went through a 3-day ban this week. My account was restricted. Like just that alone should let people know, wow, they're doing something that's First Amendment rights. They're trying to restrict our speech, okay, under the guise of safety. This is what they've always done, man. This is what the governments throughout history have done, the same thing. They hurt you for your safety, okay? Problem is people don't go to websites. They go to Facebook. They go to YouTube. They go to whatever site they're going to go to, Twitter. They don't want to actually go and plug in a website and go directly to a website anymore. And that's part of the plan. Here's another conspiracy theory. These big social media platforms did that for a reason. Okay? Because then they can control, the government and them can control what you see and don't see when the majority of the populace are going to those places. So, but I don't care. I still got a really good friend who's really good with computer programming. I mean, from code and everything, and I think he can make me a website where my podcasts won't be taken down. I see a lot of people that are doing that. And, you know, I say we keep talking as much as possible. We keep trying to change people's mind as much as possible, because once the talking stops, so other stuff's going to start, okay? Now they got the Justice Department supposedly passed this new law. They're trying to pass this new law where they reword what domestic terrorism constitutes, which basically means if you speak out against their science, you're a domestic terrorist. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. It might be time to start getting a little pissed, a little angry, and start letting people know you're not having it. You're not dealing with it. It's not going to happen. Sorry, ain't happening here. Okay? I might put some people off with how I get pissed off sometimes, but most of the time I'm really not a pissed off guy. Most of the time I'm a happy-go-lucky guy vibrating in a high state. Okay? That's why I got animals and kids always drawn to me. Then they're drawn to people who are vibrating at a higher state. I refuse to vibrate in fear. Okay? You can forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. I refuse to vibrate at fear like they want me to. I wish I didn't have to have courage, because, you know, courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the presence of fear, and still forging ahead anyway, right? Well, sometimes it sucks having to have courage, because that means fear is present in some way. I'm not even going to let them. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of dying. I don't care. I'm not suicidal. I just don't give a shit. I know our souls go on. There's stuff that's more important and worse than death, such as slavery, okay? Or watching others get hurt. Watching others get hurt and being a slave is worse than death. Be willing to die to not let those things happen, is what I'm saying. And defend people who can't defend themselves. To my order following friends who work in hospitals, I made a post this week, talked about some things. I used to work in a couple of different hospitals in security/police capacities. I know these fucking wards aren't full. And I know you know too. And I know you guys pride yourself on being oath keepers. Well, fulfill your oath. Don't just believe what you're being told. Really get onto these wards and investigate. Take video, take pictures, and come out with it. Okay? Being an oath keeper doesn't always equal being a job keeper. I get it, man. It's tough. It's tough. No one wants to lose their job. That's how they're going to control us? You think you're going to have the kind of job you have when the New World Order comes in? You're not. So I would say fulfill your oath. Don't follow any immoral orders. And be the oath keeper that you bragged about being all those years ago. Because there's people that have never taken an official oath that I see that are using a lot of courage. They're fulfilling your oath for you. Don't let them. Speak up. Doctors are speaking up and getting fired. Something big is going on, folks. Okay? With that said, man, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy every minute of every second of every day. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Have a good time. Laugh. Put laughter and fun stuff out into the collective, because that's the one thing that will hurt them. If you put out love and laughter and all that stuff, that goes directly against the vibration of fear. We want to vibrate in a state of love and discernment, not hate and fear. So, have some fun. I may start making podcasts that are a little more humorous and start using some of that humor I learned when I was in law enforcement, which is usually poking fun at contradictions. So maybe that's what I'll do with my next podcast. Not sure. I hope you guys got something out of this podcast. You may or may not have, but I'm gonna keep getting up, keep talking, probably once a week. But I don't want to, give my word on that because I might skip a week here or there. But man, the message today again: say no. Just say no. That's the message today. Until I get on here next time, man. Thank you for listening. Have a good weekend.